morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what side of the world you're on. This is Sports Dynasty coming at you from the very tippy-toppies of Canada, populated northern part of the world. We literally have snow and ice for skin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's another edition of North Sports Dynasty with your hosts, Andrew Faubert, that is I, and the other side of me. Did I get that right? I'm not even looking. Oh, there we go. Mr. Alex Loosemore, how are we doing today, my brother?
Well, we're doing awesome. A lot of things happened in the last week sports-wise. Very busy week. Playoffs are rolling. Some really good matchups across NBA, NHL. Yeah, there was a lot. It was a good time to be isolated. I'm glad that's over, though.
Yeah. You lucky son of a gun. Even though I had a couple of days off, too, there because...
I've still got another week.
You got a week?
Yeah, so I was supposed to go back next Friday, but at first I was going camping next weekend, so I booked it off. They gave it to me. So now I go camping like middle of the week next week, and then I don't go back till the following Monday.
Wow. You are lucky.
It's almost 3 whole weeks off.
Yeah, all thanks to COVID. Not actually. Me, I had to get a test. My results didn't come back until the Thursday night, so they basically just told me to flip and stay home. I was like, all right, I still am a little congested, as you'll probably hear throughout the show. I do apologize for that, but it's not my fault. I mean, it is, but pollen wants to kill me. I mean, it's just the way it is. So, again, I do apologize if you do hear that from me. I am just sharing the show around here, ladies and gentlemen. But remember to follow us.
Yes.
Share this show at North Sports Dynasty. Sorry, there we go. Boom. At North Sports Dynasty on Twitter, on Facebook, our social media accounts all across the boards. Our website where I am posting as much as I can. Alex's article about the Lions, which if I can get to here really quickly, 1 second. Why I have hopes in the Detroit Lions once again.
Should be for once.
For one. You might have a few people come at you for that one. Yeah. But yeah, his Lions article will be up right after this show today. It has been up on the website. I have just not done my job because I have kids. So I did not post it, but it is there and it will be shared across all of our platforms today.
Yes.
Remember to follow each and our individuals here. Each and every one of us. Myself at Andrew_Faubert, and you can also find me at Facebook, Andrew Faubert. Alex, where can they find you?
At Loosemore65 on Twitter, and just plain Alex Loosemore on Facebook.
Perfect. So today we're going to be doing a mock draft for Dynasty. Yes. Everybody does these draft agains. There was a better word for it. I know there's a better word for it.
Redraft.
There we go. These redraft ones every year are very, very popular because everybody, just wants to try and get that first overall pick. And then when you can't, you got to try and build your team and then go from there for the whole year. And then if you don't like your team, you can scratch it up and do it again. Yeah. That's very, very common and popular situation. But if you're a very big nerd head when it comes to football, we do the dynasty stuff. So if you want to try and keep these players, you obviously want to tune into this one because we're going to be doing it live on our phones, talking about it, trying to build on some of these questions that have been thrown our way about who the heck we actually think is better than the other, vice versa, who's good for dynasty and who's not. And like Alex said, we're going to be going over the playoffs. And what was I supposed to bring up before you went through the news, Alex?
Oh, so with this mock draft that we're doing, we want you guys to be involved in it. So in the comments, if you want to post where you guys think we should draft, just put where you think Andrew should draft, where you think I should draft. We're going to look at the comments and go from there. Try and make this a little more interactive.
Yes. So you guys, 1 through 14, we're doing a 14 because we go based off of what our league looks like. We have 14 people in our league. Yeah. So it is going to be 14 people, 14 picks, 1 through 14. You can just put 2 different numbers into the chat whenever you want. You can decide, Andrew gets pick 14, Alex picks number 1, vice versa. You decide in the chats before we get into that. Also, before Alex gets into the news, something crazy and exciting. I don't know if I've wanted to say this for quite a while. Because shows like the Pat McAfee show and stuff have gotten to say it, and I've gotten like really excited and stuff like that. So for a lot of people who are tuning in, I do apologize for, quite possibly how loud this might get. But as of June 10th, they are going to let us out of our houses, and they're going to let us hang out. So that means, come probably like the 12th on a Saturday, right after the show, we'll have like a little pickup basketball game, which we're going to do a big post about and stuff.
Yes.
So with that being said, we beat fucking COVID, baby! We beat it! You get the fuck out of my now! I'm done! Ah! We beat it! We beat COVID! Kick your ass! That fucking suck it!
Everyone's going to be saying thank you that you moved away from the mic a little bit.
Kick your ass, COVID! I'm gonna play basketball with my friends! I'm gonna fucking go out! I'm gonna fly! Fucking, I'm gonna see Alex! I'm gonna hug my family! I'm gonna...
Well, I mean, you still could have done that, but...
Yeah, I know, but like, don't tell them. I'm gonna fucking... Ah! They're gonna let me out of my house! I broke my chair!
Oh, good God.
I don't care! Ah!
I'm waiting for just mid-show you to just go.
Oh my God.
Okay, so while you catch your breath, do you want me to do the news?
Kim messaged me and said I gotta calm down. People are gonna call the cops. Yes, Alex. Please get into some news while I try to refocus my camera. There we go. And collect myself. All right, Alex. Get into some news.
All right, so we'll start off with the NFL because there's a lot. A lot of just little things. So the Texans signed another running back, Rex Burkhead, the former Patriot. I don't know what the plan is here. They've got so many freaking running backs as it is, and he's, at best, he's the fourth best running back in that room. Unless it's just giving one of those guys a break during camp or whatever. I don't understand it. Delaney Walker might be returning to where it all began. He did a workout for the 49ers on Wednesday. Could be a good depth tight end behind George Kittle. I wanted to get your opinion on this, so I'll leave it for later so you can catch your breath.
Yeah.
Cowboys have gotten some calls on linebacker Leighton Vander Esch. They came out and said, quit calling, we're not trading him. A weird little one, Chris Hogan, the former Patriots and Bills receiver, is now returning to Boston to play for the Boston Cannons of the Premier Lacrosse League. The Panthers are finally, Jeremy Chin was drafted as a safety for the Panthers last year. They played him at linebacker. They're now moving him back to safety, which is the smart move. I think he's a better fit there. The Jags signed former Pro Bowler and All-Pro kick returner Pharaoh Cooper. He plays receiver as well. This is just strictly they've got their returner. The NFL is exploring interest, so they play games in Europe every year. They go to London, play a couple games a year. They're now exploring the interest to play games in. They are now exploring the interest to play games in Germany as well. So look for games to be in Germany in a couple years. I wonder who would be their team because London's team kind of seems to be the Jaguars.
Yep.
So I wonder what franchise would be like Germany's team.
Ooh.
Malik Hooker, the former Colts safety, is visiting the Steelers, or visited the Steelers this week. I don't think that's a great fit. They've got good safeties and all that, unless they want to move Minkah Fitzpatrick back to corner, which could be interesting. But to me, it's not a great fit there. Frank Gore is still trying to push away retirement. He hasn't signed with a team yet this offseason, but he's came out and said he's going to look at every situation, see if there's a good situation for him before he even considers retirement. And there's 2 left. I'll get to yours here. So Bruce Arians has come out and talked about Kyle Trask, the rookie second-round pick.
Yeah. And
said mentally he's not far behind Andrew Luck as a rookie. I think he's just hyping him up. I don't think he's actually that close to Luck mentally, because Luck was so far above every rookie mentally. It was so unreal. I said this on the show, on Rick's show last night, and I'll reiterate it here as well. Kyle Trask is not Andrew Luck. He's not Andrew Luck-esque or anything like that. Does Kyle Trask look like a fucking middle linebacker that can throw the ball out of a stadium? No. Listen, I love Kyle Trask. I love him. I love him to death. He doesn't, to me, he looks like right now, doesn't look like any of the great quarterbacks that have existed. Okay. He's kind of got his own little thing, and I don't know if that's good or not yet. So you'll have to wait and see. Yeah. And the only quarterback in the last little while here that I've said that even looks like Andrew Luck, is Andrew Luck-esque, is that Davis Mills guy. And he went to Houston. Like, no one looks like a middle linebacker that can throw a actual bowling ball out of a fucking stadium. Like, that's that. Until I see that in a quarterback, I don't want to talk. No, I don't want to hear anybody say Andrew Luck this. It's the same thing when Rick went on his rant before about Tom Brady-esque and stuff like that. No, there's no Andrew Luck-esque. And there's people out there who think Andrew Luck was a bad quarterback. You need to just shut your fucking mouths. Now, off that, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I've seen this brought up in debates recently. Huh? Is Andrew Luck a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
If you're going strictly off talent, absolutely. If you're going off what his career was, no. He was extremely talented. He only played 6 years.
Yeah.
And he went to what? 2 conference championship games?
Sean Taylor played 5.
But it was his impact on the game.
Andrew Luck's impact on the game. They left. They let Peyton Manning leave. You don't leave. You don't let goats like that just walk away on chances.
That's why I said on talent, yes. Andrew Luck was one of my favorite quarterbacks of this last decade. He's way up there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I just, looking at it,
I know
from that perspective, I don't see him getting it. He might get in. I don't think he should.
He should. No, he shouldn't. I agree. But I'll still go to the moon for Andrew Luck because I loved his talent too. So.
Oh yeah.
Also, reminder.
I also hate for our work league last year. Not last year, the year before.
The year before, yeah.
I drafted Andrew Luck because our GM at the time was a huge Colts fan. So I was like, I'm going to just piss him off and try and get a trade.
Yeah.
And not even 10 minutes later, the bastard retired.
I was
ready to throw my laptop out that window.
And it was funny because
so mad.
All the people that we were at Wild Wings for that one. Yeah. And all the guys were like, I mean, we could redraft. We're not that far into it. And you were like, no, just fucking go.
I just went and took Russell Wilson with my next pick.
Oh, my God. So reminder, guys, drop in the comments. We're doing the Mock Draft Dynasty here in a bit. So just give a number between 1 to 14 for me and Alex. Most numbers win or first numbers win before we get there. So just let us know between 1 and 14. What's the last? You got 1 more, 2 more? What do you got?
I got NHL and NBA still.
Yeah, let's do that.
Johnny's been excited about this one for about a week. The USFL is returning in 2022 after a 36-year hiatus. He's been all over sending me stuff about the old Tampa Bay Bandits and all that. It'll be interesting to have another one of these like spring football leagues, especially if the XFL comes back to run, and just that little bit of competition, right? It never hurts. So I think, and giving more players opportunities to actually see the field.
Mm-hmm.
So this helps development for guys trying to make an NFL roster. If you're not quite there yet, you can go to these leagues, work on your craft a little bit, and then try and get into training camp and show them what you got. So I think this is a big move, just football across the board. Moving to the NHL, Evgeny Malkin had knee surgery recently. He's likely to miss the start of next season. The NHL Draft Lottery happened on Wednesday, so the results of that, Sabres won the first pick. The Seattle Kraken will pick their first ever draft pick, will be second overall.
Number 2.
The Anaheim Ducks pick third. And then after that, so how they did it this year, because we got screwed last year, is they only did the lottery for the first 3 picks. And then after that, it just went on your odds.
Yeah.
So 4th is the Devils, 5th the Jackets, 6 are Red Wings, 7 the Sharks, 8 the Kings, 9 the Canucks, 10 the Sens, 11 the Blackhawks, 12 the Flames, 13th the Flyers, 14th the Stars, 15th the Rangers. If everyone's wondering why that doesn't add up, because there should be 16 teams in a 32-team league, the Arizona Coyotes are a bunch of cheaters, and they had to forfeit their draft pick. So for those of you that don't know what happened there, their GM of the last couple of years, obviously not this year because he got fired, was illegally bringing players in for workouts. You're only allowed so many in a specific amount of time, and he was going over both of those rules,
which was
bringing in way more prospects, way too long of time. He got caught. He got fired. They lost draft picks. I believe it was a second round last year and a first round this year.
Yep.
Yeah. So the draft lottery. I want to get your opinion on this. That Scheifele 4-game suspension. What do you think about that?
Okay, first things first before we get into that. Red Wings pick at 6. And just to let you all know.
Isn't that like the 3rd straight year? Basically, 3 of the last 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we picked 4th last year.
The players that we've taken at number 6, Mo Sider, Philip Zadina, and whoever it is going to be this year. So, and if you're wondering why I bring it up like that, because I've also said this out on Twitter, I want to see the 666 line eventually.
Well, I mean, there's one thing that doesn't work there. Slider's a defenseman.
That's what I mean. I want him and Zadina and someone else all on the ice at the same time.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean there. Yeah. Okay, that'll definitely happen.
As in maybe this is just me. I'm looking because I got my tier 1 and tier 2s and stuff like that all set up. And before we get into the hit, I just want to bring up we could basically consider Owen Powers' career gone because he's going to the Sabres. We can basically, I would say Matthew Beniers is probably the best case scenario for Seattle there at number 2.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, just to take a random shot at it, I think Luke Hughes would probably be gone. William Eklund would be gone. And then more than likely, it would probably be Dylan Guenther would be gone. So they would leave us with, Brandon Clark, the defenseman, Simon Edmondson, Kent Johnson from Michigan would obviously be a fan favorite. But I do, as of right now, I do think, and a lot of people are starting to get on board with this too. They might be seeing something that we're not. Jesper Wallstedt, the goalie from Sweden,
I've been hearing a lot about him.
It might be now for me. I like him. I personally like him. I don't think he's ready to get in there yet and showcase and this, that, and everything else. So I think we should wait and get either a goalie that needs 1 to 2 years. Like, where is he? Hold on. Give me a second. I got his name here. Costa. I'm just got to get his first name here because I got him ranked. Where the hell did you go? Oh, there we go. Sebastian Costa. He is a 6'6", 210 from the Edmonton WHL team. He needs like 1 or 2 years, and I think he's going to be like a hell of a player. I think the Red Wings could steal him at 24 with the Washington pick. So I think if it's in our best interest, I do think getting a right winger would probably be in our best interest. So like Fabian Lysell, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually is picked up pretty early. Or if Dylan Gunther is still available, I wouldn't be surprised if we grab him. But Kent Johnson is probably who we are going to pick. Now, this suspension, okay. I had my mom come over and be like, this suspension is dumb as fuck. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But here's the problem. It's optics. It's all about optics now. It doesn't matter who the player is now. It matters about how it looks to social media and to people watching the games now. So to a lot of people out there, a lot of people who are younger than us, and a lot of say parents around our age, and then adults a little bit older than us who have been stuck at home and who haven't watched hockey in a long time, have just been exposed to 1990s hockey. You've 1980s, 1990s, hell, we'll go back to the 70s and 60s. That hit is completely legal by all standards. It is. The problem is the optics. The guy's arm went limp when he was coming around, and when he hit, he was done.
Oh,
right?
he was out as soon as he hit the ice.
Yeah, this wasn't a Paul Kariya. Like Paul Kariya's hit was nasty, right? But he came back to life. Evans is out for the playoffs. Like he's fucked up. Yeah. So it sucks. It sucks. It's for both sides. It sucks for the injury, and it sucks for the suspension on Scheifele, because in my opinion, it should have been only 3.
I thought 1.
1 respectable as well. I've been on the fence on this on both ends, because half of me is saying it's a clean hit, you can't suspend him. But at the other side of it too is it's the optics of it. And if you look at his eyes right after that too, it's not like Nazem Kadri kind of looked like he's just a dumb fuck and he knew exactly what he did. At least with Mark Scheifele
regretted it the moment it happened.
Yeah, like it's the anger of the game. You're getting your ass kicked by a team who just went to 7 and you swept the Oilers, which, listen, guys, this is also kind of a betting show. This is a show where we do a bunch of stuff and we're hitting on the best things that we can, which I know, judging by, wait till it comes on the screen, that record right there doesn't seem that great, but that's still 128 wins more than some of the other motherfuckers I've seen out there who claim to be like really smart at this. Harry is really smart, though. I'm gonna say that Harry's not an idiot. Harry is really smart. He's giving me some good bets here. That being said, if we're talking, we're talking about the suspension here. Going back to the Montreal thing, if you're a betting dude, anytime you got a team that has swept another team going up against a team that just got out of a Game 7. Always take the team that got out of the Game 7. Why? Because they know how to hit. They know how to hit. Did
you see the Colorado Vegas one? That's the exact same scenario.
Yeah, but they changed the goalies. At least with Montreal.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, they kept the same recipe. And at least, like, you look at the second game, it was a lot closer than
these last 2 games were both really, really good.
Oh, yeah. We were watching that Golden Knights game, and I was like, look, babe, they tied it. And she's like, oh. And then all of a sudden they got that lead, and she's like, oh, shit.
I was like, I have a bet with my buddy that it's at least going 6.
It's got it.
He thinks it's only going 5.
No, Colorado is good, but not like – listen, it is really cool to hear Colorado using Tyson Jost a lot more than what we expected. Like
he's performed really well.
Oh, 2 minutes. 2-minute ice time on a power play. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get through this news, and then we'll get into some of this mock draft here.
Okay, so we'll push through the NBA here. Mm-hmm. We'll have a new champ as the Lakers got eliminated in 6.
Bye-bye to the greatest basketball player of all time.
You think he's done?
I mean,
or just for this year?
Michael Jordan isn't playing.
I meant, okay. So, yes, on that, I do think Jordan's obviously the GOAT. I thought you were talking about right now because he is still the best player in the world.
Yep.
People don't argue with me on that because you're wrong. This will also be the first finals without Curry or LeBron since 2010. And I believe that was Lakers Magic,
Yes.
if I remember correctly. The Blazers, after they lost Game 6 to the Nuggets, them and their coach Terry Stotts agreed to part ways. Damian Lillard is going to be an integral part of trying to find the next coach. He's said he wants Jason Kidd. He wants Jason Kidd right off the bat. The other names I heard were Chauncey Billups and Mike D'Antoni. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think if they don't listen to Lillard, he might want out. Yeah. He's been kind of posting some cryptic tweets and all that kind of stuff where I've always been like, no, he's coming back. And I'm like, well, he might be gone. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The Grizzlies extended the contract of their GM. I couldn't get the first name but the last name, Kleiman. He's done a phenomenal job there with getting all that young talent. So this definitely is well deserved. Brad Stevens is the new Celtics GM as Danny Ainge stepped down. So they're on the lookout for a new head coach. I was thinking maybe D'Antoni there.
Interesting.
Literally, as we were about to go live, the Magic and their coach Steve Clifford have agreed to part ways. So there's another coaching hire. And the big one in the basketball world this week, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, however you say his last name, the Coach legendary K. Duke coach, is going to retire after the season. They've already came out and said that the associate head coach is going to be the coach in waiting. He's just going to shadow Coach K all season, learn how he does all the stuff, and take it over next year. And, yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Let me get out of this here. All right. I was going to update this, actually, but no, I'm not going to do that anymore. All right, there we go. Boom. All right. So that was the news. Yeah, Boston one really confused me. Kind of cool, but also you would think that would happen if he won a title and he actually proved that he was like a Pat Riley or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think Brad Stevens really deserves that yet. He hasn't earned anything.
No. Yeah,
that one bugged me. It really did.
Yeah, that needs to change. So before we get into the mock draft here, guys, we're going to do the playoff update here. Remember to toss us numbers between 1 and 14 in the chat so that we can find out where we are picking. Before we do this, it is Dynasty. We're going to help a few of you guys out. So let us know in the chat. Speaking of the chat, we'll go to the guys here quick. Ladies and gents, go Vegas. Hell yeah. Go Vegas.
I personally want Vegas to hit 6 so I win that bet, and then I want Colorado to take it. But
that's fair.
I want good hockey, and the last 2 games have definitely been that. I've thoroughly enjoyed those 2 games, so hopefully it keeps like that.
This has been a very fun, very, very, very fun playoffs for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm a nerd, Harry Berg. Thank you for tuning in. The Red Rocket. Damn right. Coming to Florida. Let's play basketball with your other friends. Yes. Actually, that'd be kind of cool if me and you just like randomly flew down to Florida for Bucks Report for a weekend. That'd be dope. Which hopefully soon, guys, we beat Calvin. Sorry, I'm not going to do that anymore. My baby is sleeping. If you want to see my freak out, go back to like the first 6 minutes of this show where my chair is like hanging by a thread right now. I find it hilarious. Hopefully COVID doesn't Montreal Canadiens us after that starts coming back.
No kidding.
Yeah, I know. I may have spoke too soon, but at least we're starting to get out and we get some freedom here, which is kind of nice. So as you can see my hair, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it as long. I like it. I'm going to do it because I like it when I can put it up like that. Look at it.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Oh, Jesus. I am fucked up. Wishbone offense for the Texans.
Yeah.
Jesus. Hey, guys. I think I'm a bit late. No, you're just in time, Johnny. We're about halfway through the show. Hello, gentlemen. Teresa, thank you for tuning in. I love how Alex just sits there and holds in the laughter when Andrew goes on a rant. Damn, you guys work well together. Yeah, this is the reason why I hired him, and I don't pay him. I literally give him no money, and I do apologize. Quayne Brown for Blazers coach with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes as assistant. Ooh. I don't think.
No.
I was gonna say I don't think Damian Lillard would personally like that. He'd be like, people are just gonna.
He'd be out way too quick.
We're going to fight everybody. Pound that share button, share the show to all your sports fans and fantasy fans. Yes, if Harry wasn't such a cat guy, he would understand what a red rocket is. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. All right. So, since we haven't, we're going to go in the playoffs here quick. So, the playoffs, which you're not, your Lions will get to eventually. I try to defend your Lions.
We don't really know what that is yet.
We don't know, but it's coming. So for the NHL here, we have had the game 2 of Montreal and Winnipeg was a couple of days ago where that nasty hit took place. Montreal is up 2-0.
Man, that's all Carey Price. Carey Price has been insane these playoffs.
I think he understands. I think he finally understands, like, I need this. I have a good shot.
Well, and, like, if he's playing this well, it's going to be tough for anyone to beat them.
I agree.
Because that's not a bad roster. And then you throw Carey Price playing, like, prime Carey Price again.
Yep.
Look out for Montreal, honestly.
Boston, New York. Boston
That's been a fun series.
Yeah, anything New York has been playing, and Boston. Like, I hate Boston, but they are fun to watch. I've made some money off them, but I am going to take the Islanders to tie up the series tonight. Carolina's got a 2-1 Tampa Bay's got a 2-1 series lead on Carolina. They should have a 3-0 series lead.
They definitely should.
That game was close. Though Carolina, like, they really could grind it out. I mean, they're
getting a couple key players back in the next couple days. Like their second and third line guys, Trocheck, guys like that are coming back. So again, look for this to hit 6 or 7, I think.
Yep. And then Colorado, Vegas. Colorado still got a 2-1 series lead. Vegas Knights just won last night.
And if you look at it, like, yes, the scores are close and everything, but that momentum's starting to creep back towards Vegas.
Yep.
Like, this is going to be an interesting finish to the series.
Though Colorado's team is stacked. Like, both of these teams are stacked to the fucking tit.
And look at the way, like, McKinnon's playing. Like, McKinnon's playing out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He's been so good, but again, Vegas has been so good at locking down their defense, blocking all these shots. Like, they're making life easy for Fleury. And, well, they tried to make it easy for Leonard game 1, but the whole team sucked game 1. So
and that's not starting to look good. I mean, I know they're probably going to have to get rid of Fleury here soon, but I mean, if that's what Leonard's going to do for you guys, like, they might need to consider another really good backup.
For me, like, Fleury might win the Vezina this year.
He better win the Vezina.
He's never done that before, which is insane. He should definitely win it this year.
Was he 4th most wins of all time? 3rd most wins of all time?
Something like that, yeah.
He's got 3 Stanley Cups. People would say 2 of those Stanley Cups were Matt Murray. That's debatable, but okay. But at the same time, he's still a number 1 pick overall.
If you're talking greatest goalies ever, he's got to be in that conversation.
He's starting to, for sure. I mean, it's still, like, I don't care who you are. It's Roder 1, Waugh 2. Like, that's the order.
Yeah. And I would probably throw Hasek 3.
I usually throw Hasek at 3rd, yeah. I'm just trying to get to who I had here. Okay, so I got the final 4 being the Islanders, Winnipeg, Tampa Bay, and Vegas.
My final 4, I've got 3 possibilities still in my prediction from the beginning of playoffs.
Yeah, so I was going to say, how many of your first rounders did you win? Because I got 6 out of 8.
I did as well.
Did you actually?
Yeah, I picked Edmonton in 6, and I picked Washington in 7. Those were the only 2 losses I had.
Nice. So we were both high up on Washington there, and then I took Winnipeg. Where was the other one I lost? Nashville. Yeah, I was high up on Nashville. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, which is good. Like, which is funny because I still remember some people before we made this show, like, together. They were like, "Oh, now we got to watch 2 people be completely wrong about shit." Yeah, Alex over there got 8 right when it came to the draft. Okay, I got 7, which is in the what we would call not the elite status, because there's 1 and then there's 2 and then there's 3. We were just in that 3rd one. Alex technically crept under the 3rd one, and I'm just under him. And we're show hosts. That's what we do. We're proper show hosts. We know what we're talking about. Same with our first round prediction. We're not just getting lucky. Luck happens with betting. And as you can see, I don't have the greatest luck sometimes.
Well, I mean, too, like, we also picked the amount of games they were going to win in.
Yep.
So
most of those we've done pretty good as well.
I was off on, I had Colorado in 6. I had Vegas in 5. I had Montreal in 7, so I hit on that one.
Nice.
I had Tampa in 6, so I hit on that one.
Yeah, I had Montreal in 7, yeah.
I had Islanders in 6, so I hit on that one. So I hit on 3.
Yep, I got Montreal, Islanders in 6. Vegas and Minnesota went to 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then, I think that was the only ones. Yeah, so I got those 2 right. I'd missed out on Vegas and Minnesota. I thought that would only go to 6. That's on me. That's on me. Oh, I love this comment. So
I saw that and I just like smirked a little.
He is, dude. Like, there's a reason why I brought him on this show. Like, you got, and I do respect. I love all the comments that get thrown at me, like on Harry's show and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really do love it. I always appreciate it. But I like to show off like the other talent that we have here, especially in Canada. And when I met this guy, like he used to work technically for me, and now we work technically together. And his knowledge when it came to sports, like just like jaw dropped me. I was like, why are you a Lions fan? Like, there's so much more opportunities for you. And he's like, no, one day we'll get there. And it's like, oh, I know. We'll get there.
Well, it was funny because my sister introduced us.
Yeah.
Brought me over and it was just like, Andrew, this is Alex. He likes sports too, and walked away. Like,
yeah, boom, just like that.
Yeah.
And with your sister, I just remember when I used to smoke. We were out in the smoke pit one time, and I just remember talking about the Red Wings, and she popped off a couple of dollars, and I'm like, who the hell are you? And then me and her ended up being teammates, and we had to run the whole freaking madhouse there for a bit. And then, then our whole team became little sports fans when we had to play like the Raptors games and stuff like that. And
yeah, that was the best, playing all those games on like the speakers and watching them. And
Yep. All right. So anybody down in the comment section who is watching, we need some numbers 1 through 14. Just drop a couple of numbers in between 1 and 14 in the comment section. You have 1 minute because we are going to get into our Dynasty Mock Draft because we got some people who have asked about it, and we said we are going to help them. So we're going to go into our pre-draft. It is 12 rounds. We're not going to do kickers, and we're not going to do defense. Everybody can figure that one out on their own. That's totally fine.
We've got a 12 and an 11.
Okay. I think that's what. Are we going to go with that? Because that would be interesting. That would be like me and you battling each other then.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get one more. We'll get one more number in there. Let's see if we can get an earlier number between, like, say, 1 and 7. Because me and Alex did this yesterday.
Yeah.
And our team that we did yesterday was kind of cool. So I was like, okay, let's see.
I had a plan, and then McCaffrey made it to 3, and my board just went to shit.
Yeah, that one surprised me. Okay, perfect. So 3. There we go. So
do we want to switch it this time? You take 3, and I'll take 12?
Take 11, because I think 11 is going to be an interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so take that one. So I'll take
11.
3. Okay. And then so our time limit, ours is on 10 minutes, so we could talk about each pick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So quickly for the people tuning in. So Dynasty is basically, you have redrafts that happen every year. Work leagues do this all the time. It happens. Dynasty is just keeping your team year in and year out. Yeah. And the example I use to Ray Kennedy all the time, because he's always like, I don't know about this. I'm like, hey, you'll get it. Is if you had Alvin Kamara, for example, and you don't want to get rid of Alvin Kamara, you don't have to get rid of Alvin Kamara. The only drafting that you do is the rookies that come in through the actual draft. So like your Trevor Lawrence's and your Najee Harris's and your Travis Etienne's and this, that, and everything else and blah, 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 blah. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to start the draft. 2 picks will happen right off the bat. So Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor pop off of the board. So remember Dynasty. So that means youth, you want to keep someone that's going to be there all the time. or for a long time.
Yeah.
We do a PPR league, so that means points per reception. So you get 1 point per reception. That means pass catching running backs are very, very high value to a lot of players. Your number one wide receivers on certain teams are your number one choices.
Even slot receivers, like slot receivers seem to climb ahead of number 2 receivers on teams.
This is true. I've noticed on a lot of other boards, Tyreek Hill is number 1 for wide receivers and usually
I've seen that for PPR as well.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill aren't going anywhere for the next 3 to 4 years. And that's the one thing you want to do with Dynasty. If you know that you have 3 to 4 years of instant starting, nothing's going to happen except injuries, that's the pick that you go with. Now, for me, I have way too many choices here right off the bat. I got Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Saquon Barkley are the two major
Chubb
ones.
and Henry.
They got Chubb and Henry there. I think they
weren't consideration there.
They got them there. For me, both of them, if you have them in Dynasty right now, you can probably try and trade them and get immense value from somebody who doesn't
especially Henry.
Yeah, especially anyone who doesn't have a number 1 running back. So if you're left with, Ronald Jones, James Robinson, Myles Gaskin, Devin Singletary, if you're left with those type of players on your team as your starters, you want to start. You would consider trying to trade one of those guys over to that player just because they would be like, oh, I need him. I really do.
Yeah.
Whereas they're getting up there in age and the contract, so you do want to be respectively careful with that. Now, I do love the fact that Dalvin Cook is 25, but he's played 4 years in the league. Same with Alvin Kamara. Barkley, though, the only thing that has me concerned is the injuries. And the other thing that you want to do here in Dynasty is not many people have been able to play with Saquon Barkley. And when they have, he's been really, really good, except for obviously the one game there. So for me, it is tough because, people are like, well, what about your quarterbacks and wide receivers? Tyreek Hill is right there. And Patrick Mahomes is right there. But for me, I have number 3. It is going to take a while for me to get the next pick. I do want to ensure a top running back right off the bat. Pass catching ability, because we don't know who the quarterback is. But I think whoever they throw in is just going to throw it to this guy. I am going to go with Alvin Kamara as my first pick to start my fantasy.
Chubb, Cook, Henry, Barkley, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson.
So that leaves you on the board. And the top picks that they got there for you right now, we'll talk about some of the running backs quick. Obviously, DeAndre Swift there for you. You're like,
it's enticing.
Cam Akers is there as well. J.K. Dobbins. Najee Harris is also around there. When you look at the wide receivers, A.J. Brown, D.K. Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley. They got those guys up there. You're starting to get into the tight end range as well with Travis Kelce and George Kittle. Be careful with the Kelce pick to everybody out there, though, because he is getting old. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes is there, but you are at that 111 spot. And this is the reason I wanted to give you the 111 spot is because now you're looking at this weird, okay, if I pick a quarterback first, I'm going with second stringers all the way through, but you do have the number 1 quarterback. But you obviously know that this is a points per reception league as well. So what are you thinking here?
I'm looking at these running backs. Talking about pass catching, Zeke's been pretty good at those screens. He scares me, though, because he is getting up there a little bit.
5 years in the league, 25 years old.
And that contract, yes, he's got years on his contract, but I can see them trying to move that contract eventually because I don't think he's going to perform up to it. That's a lot to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Akers in that offense, I think the Rams are going to go more pass happy, so that worries me a little bit in the first round. Swift, I'm a Lions guy. We don't got a lot of receivers. I think we're going to rely heavy on the run this year, so that is a good option. Dobbins, Baltimore pounds the rock.
Yep.
That's another good option. Aaron Jones, especially if Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be there, they're going to rely on him.
For sure.
That's a good pick. Najee Harris for Pittsburgh. They want to get back to running the ball. The one thing that scares me, like Dynasty, Najee Harris is good to look at. It just scares me that they still haven't really worked on that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a huge weak spot.
The offensive line is a weak spot there, and it could hurt Najee. Now, a lot of people have talked about that. Like Najee is just going to be handed the rock, and the offensive line isn't necessarily as bad as people think it is. So that also is very intriguing as well.
I am going to take a risk here.
Ooh, I like risks.
So my plan here, I've got my plan set out for my next pick.
Okay.
I'm going to take my boy Swift.
Yeah.
And hope that Najee Harris is there for my second pick.
Ooh, that would be fun. All right, let's see how this plays out here. So Alex is going to take Swift. Mahomes goes right after. A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers.
And Najee Harris is there, so he's mine.
There it is. So he gets this nice double starter package with his running backs here, with Najee Harris and DeAndre Swift. So Ezekiel Elliott went right after. Aaron Jones, George Kittle. The tight ends have started to fall. DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce. Joe Mixon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire have fallen off of the board right in front of me. Now, for me, this would be a no-brainer, except there is a couple of other players that are still on the board that have me very intrigued. Now, the no-brainer would be Calvin Ridley here. Points per reception, Atlanta Falcons here. This is perfect.
He's going to be their number one.
For sure. And I'm still more than likely going to take it. Now, the only thing I'm considering is my boy Antonio Gibson is being able to have Alvin Kamara and Antonio Gibson. And when all comes back around to me anyway, because that'll be 4 picks away. And I can more than likely get Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, Darren Waller, Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. So it is tough. Now, I would like to have top receiver and then have a chance on, say, an Eckler. I do like having Kyle Murray there as well, but there's just so many other options. I can grab a quarterback later on.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good fantasy quarterbacks.
There is one right here. If you're looking at the future for Dynasty, you can grab a younger potential like Najee or ATN, right? So that's the reason why Alex grabbed Najee. Now, ATN, I agree with. The thing is when ATN gets to when you get to ATN, because ATN right now on our app is ranked right about just after this set that I'm talking about. So we're looking at the Allen Robinsons, Lamar Jacksons, Travis Etienne's, so on and so forth. Yeah. I love the potential of Travis Etienne. Now, the comment I was going to make is you do want to make sure when you start up these leagues, if you love a player and like that much, if you love Travis Etienne that much, you take a risk on him just a little bit ahead of the game. But if you're trying to just build your team for your success year one as well, you do want to hold up on taking those risks until the back end. Because if I take him right here, I'm missing out on Calvin Ridley, still and Antonio Gibson. Eckler is there, McLaurin, Michael Thomas, like Kyle Pitts is still there as well. So I do love the ATN idea. Has been lining up the wide receiver during practice.
I was gonna throw that in.
And I do like the chemistry with him and Trevor Lawrence is something you are not going to want to miss out on. And I do agree with that. But for me, I do have my number one running back. I love the idea of keeping it in the same division because when these teams play each other, the points are either really, really good or really, really bad, depending on who you are, obviously. I am going to go with Ridley. So I have my one receiver, and I'm going to see what falls to me. And it looks like everything that I wanted is gone. No, I'm just kidding. So Josh Allen went a couple picks after. Antonio Gibson went right after, which I do kind of expect. Josh Jacobs, still surprisingly high on some people's boards.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Austin Eckler is gone. I'm now left with like CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas. But for me, I do want one of these young tight ends. I love the idea of having 2 Atlanta players, but obviously you don't want to have 2 players on the same team with some of your top picks. So I am going to go a little unscripted here and still grab Waller, the tight end from the Raiders. Lamb has been picked, Jamar Chase, Michael Thomas, Murray, ATN gone at number 8, 2 picks right before Alex is up.
I was hoping for Jamar Chase to somehow fall to me. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. But
I don't think so, my friend. Montgomery taken surprisingly a little high, and Terry McLaurin is left there. Buddy, for some reason, Kyle Pitts has been left in your lap.
Yeah, that's very enticing.
You do have some other options here as well. What are you thinking?
So I'm going to step away from running back for a round or 2 here.
No.
So I am looking at Kyle Pitts. Chris Godwin's a good dynasty option. The one thing that worries me, though, is he's on that franchise tag.
Yep.
They're looking at a long-term contract, but you don't know if they're going to be able to make it work. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. DJ Moore in Carolina. I think, personally, Sam Darnold's going to be good this year. So I look for DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson to have big years. So that's an option there.
Mm-hmm.
Allen Robinson's going to have a legitimate quarterback throwing to him, but he is on a franchise tag.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson is a huge possibility here. Right up there, probably going to be one of the top 3 quarterbacks, especially if he can throw the ball this year.
Oh, for sure.
Now that he's got targets to actually throw to. If you're looking at guys that are starting to get up there a little bit, like Keenan Allen's always a threat to go off. Like I said, he is getting older. Mike Evans. The other thing that worries me about the Tampa Bay guys is you got to look at the roster.
Yeah.
There's so many mouths to feed. There's so many good options. That it's a huge risk taking these guys, especially early.
Yeah, you do have to kind of pick your poison with regards to that.
So
Herbert
is another huge possibility here. I think.
Yeah, you've got your 2 running backs, so you do need either a tight end or wide receiver or a quarterback. A wide receiver is usually the better option, but when you do have youth like Kyle Pitts,
I'm going Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
And taking one of these receivers next.
Man, the fact that you got Najee and Kyle in the 2nd and 3rd round of like a startup league is amazing. Sanders, Allen Robinson, Lamar, DJ Moore, Justin Herbert, Chris Godwin in that order is gone. So back up to you again.
It's definitely a receiver here.
Yep, and you're not left with too much youth. You are left with some more depth, except if you go towards like the T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk
Devontae Smith is right there.
Where was that? Oh, yeah, there he is. Yep.
Right under Galladay.
Yep.
To me,
Judy's there as well, too.
There's also Waddle and Claypool.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I want to look at guys that are kind of – I've got a lot of really young guys. I want guys that are a little more proven now. I'm looking at 25 to 30 age range.
Yeah, there you go.
And especially wide receiver, I'm looking at who's throwing them the ball and what their contract looks like. Keenan Allen's got a young Herbert, but he is getting older.
29, yep.
Evans has Brady for probably another year or 2, and then it's up in the air.
27.
Amari Cooper.
26.
He's fighting CeeDee Lamb for number 1 reps, and there's also a very good third receiver, Michael Gallup there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of mouths to feed. So I'm probably not going there. Brandon Ayuk, if he can stay healthy, is a good young receiver. Not so proven yet. So probably going to go away from him. Galladay, I don't like the injury history. As much as I love the player, he scares me. And again, so many mouths to feed.
Yeah, way too many mouths there, yeah.
To me, if I didn't have so many rookies already, I'd go Devontae Smith. I like the potential there.
Yep.
I think I'm going Cooper Kupp, though.
Ooh.
He's right like 26, 27, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And he's got Matthew Stafford throwing to him for the next couple of years. I think with Robert Woods, there's a young Van Jefferson, a young Tutu Atwell. There's a lot. Yes, there are mouths to feed, but even though he's in the slot, Kupp's going to be your number one guy. So the number one receiver and the slot receiver, I am going Cooper Kupp.
That's a good one. I like that. So the app would say you took it a little high, but it is smart when you are looking dynasty here and you need a wide receiver. It's one of the better ones that you have for youth here as well. Keenan Allen did go right after Amari Cooper, Chris Carson, Mike Evans, James Robinson, Mark Andrews, T. Higgins. Little bugger got right past me, right before me. Has left me with an interesting options here. Now, I do have my tight end, which does suck because I would take Hawkinson here for sure. So I am kind of kicking myself in the butt for not taking, say, Chase or even Travis Etienne there. But I am still happy with the tight end that I do have.
You've had a good draft so far.
Yeah, for now. We're going to see here. Yeah, I meant for now, like myself as well. I do like the young running backs. There is options here. There is some quarterbacks. I think I have an idea with the quarterbacks, which I'll probably grab with my second pick. So
Interesting.
The running back, though, I need another one. Though I need another wide receiver too. And there is some youth there, but I think I can grab another good wide receiver towards the end. So I'm going to need to grab one of these top left running backs. And now out of all the youthful rookies that are in here, Jamal Williams.
Javonte
Williams, sorry. Well, what if I wanted Jamal? Okay.
I don't know where you're getting him from, but
he's still down there a little bit. I don't even see him. I'm still oh, there he is. Yeah, 162. So Michael Carter and Trey Sermon are another options. Michael Carter is starting to rise on some people's lists here.
I like him a lot. When we did our rookie rankings, he was I think he was 3 for me. No, 4. He was my 4th running back.
And I had him listed pretty high as well. And I don't know. This is a tough one because it is a running back. Because I am gonna have to settle probably with a wide receiver in the 6th round. And I'm okay with that because I do have Calvin Ridley. I can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am gonna go Javonte Williams here. Russell Williams, Brandon Ayuk, and Kenny Golladay and Kareem Hunt have all come off the boards right after that. Now, this is where it screws me up. I could get Michael Carter here again and just completely, what do you call it?
Solidify your youth?
Yeah, and also make sure one of my flex options are good because in this one, I believe I only put 1 flex option, 5 bench, just as the list. I am, however, going to consider. Yeah, I am going to just do what I was originally going to do. I am going to continue the youth. I like the fact that. I
think I know where you're going here.
Yeah, see, and then the problem is that there's another youthful guy there as well that's got a lot of. And I shouldn't necessarily
take your pick. I'm probably taking the other one if I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I am going to take Trevor. Just so I can I have a quarterback now.
I saw that red go and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
So without hesitation here, I know who I'm going.
So TJ, Jalen, Dak, Devontae, Miles, Jerry Jeudy, and Tyler Lockett all gone from Alex's picks. So Alex, you said you already know who you're taking.
Yeah, this is what I knew you were going Trevor Lawrence. You were also thinking the guy I'm going to take, which is Joe Burrow. I wasn't a fan of their draft because they waited to address the offensive line. But getting Jamar Chase, that's a stud number 1. T. Higgins is probably your third option coming out of that. No, he'll probably be the outside guy. And Tyler Boyd will be your slot. That's a really good wide receiver core. You've got Joe Mixon as a good running back. Like, to me, that's a really good offense. As long as Burrow has time to throw the ball, he's going to be a stud fantasy quarterback. Look for him to be in that 5 to 10 range, which there's a lot of people fighting for that 5 to 10 range.
That's true. That is true.
To me, though, especially looking dynasty, go young at quarterback. Let them build, especially someone that's proven they can hang like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's my pick.
Nice. So he's got his quarterback of the future with a pretty damn good set of players around him. Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Chase Edmonds, Julio, and Chase Claypool. Quite a low pick, in my opinion, for Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I think people are scared of Ben Roethlisberger.
Which is a fair assessment. I would understand.
And you don't know who the quarterback in waiting is. Because if it's Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, you're screwed.
Which is also true.
With them as receivers. So, where we were talking, you got to look at the roster. That's something that really scared me on. Especially Deontay Johnson, too. Because not only do you not know who the quarterback is, there's so many mouths to feed. There's Johnson, there's Claypool, there's James Washington still finding himself. Eric Ebron's a good tight end.
Yep.
There's and Najee now. There's a lot. You got to get the ball to a lot of people. So that scares me away a little bit there.
With your pick here, you do still have some rookies that you can pick from, and you also do have some other interesting selections around. So, for example, there is Samuel, Deebo Samuel from San Francisco is still there. Bateman,
Rashad Bateman, I've got my eye on. It's hard not to pick him here.
I mean, yeah, you do need another wide receiver. So,
well, I'm definitely going wide receiver. I will say that now. But like you said, there's young guys and there's young proven guys.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton coming back healthy is going to be a stud number 2 receiver there. Rashad Bateman is hard to pass up because he's probably even if Julio, we talked about this on one of the shows last week.
Yep.
If Julio goes to Baltimore, Bateman's still a 1A, 1B situation there. It's hard to pass that up. He's a big, strong, physical receiver. Obviously, Deebo Samuel, Laviska Shenault is another one. The only thing that worries me, again, so many mouths to feed. There's so many weapons there.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel's a big one for me. I've been a huge fan of his, especially going to Washington.
Yep.
As I said earlier, Robbie Anderson. Man, there's a lot of good options here. I think I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman.
Ooh, there it is.
I almost went Cortland Sutton, but not knowing what's happening at quarterback there scared me away.
Yeah, it would start scaring me away too. It is an interesting one. So Ronald Jones actually went before Trey Sermon. He went right after you chose Bateman.
Yeah.
Juju, Robert Woods, Cortland Sutton, Michael Carter, Odell Beckham, and then it is up to me. So my team right now.
I'm just gonna say I'm glad Michael Carter's gone.
Yeah, because that would have been instant. It would have been well, that's a no-brainer. I got my quarterback, I got my tight end, and I got my number 1 wide receiver, and I got my running back. So I do want to look at wide receivers. There is a couple of interesting ones still on the board. Not too much youth necessarily. But looking at, say, maybe some of the best players available as well, because I do think one player that I want will still be there. I am going to grab Deebo Samuel. I do think he is.
Good pick.
I think he's going to be the number 1 option in San Francisco for a bit. And then...
Well, you know who the quarterback of the future is. You've got Garoppolo for 1 year, likely, and then it's Trey Lance.
Yeah. Yeah, so Noah Fant went right after Mike Gesicki, A.J. Dillon, which is a good pick, actually, and then Will Fuller from Miami went right after. We're in the 7th round, and I do know where I'm going here, and I'm going to explain why. It's not just because of my quarterback, but I do love Laviska Shenault. So we talk about utility weapons, and yes, there is many mouths to feed there in Jacksonville. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know. He hasn't had a 100-yard game yet. The most that he has had was 86, and that was in week 4 against Cincinnati. So obviously they do use him up against really bad defenses. And he does do successful against bad defenses. Now, when you look at the good defenses, he had a lot of targets thrown to his way. So against Tennessee, he had 11. Against Indianapolis, he had 9. Against Houston, when they were actually playing respectable, which was at the beginning of the season, he had 8. Miami's defense, he had 6 as well. Now, if we look at those in respected to the rushing attempts, because everybody forgets that he has rushing attempts randomly thrown his way in these games, these rushing attempts. So he's got 5 against Tennessee. He's got 37 yards on those guys. He's got 2 rushes against Minnesota that got him 30 yards, and it's just the attempts. This was all in his first year. And at the end of it, he was still number 45 for a PPR league. So I personally love the idea of putting him and Trevor Lawrence together. And that's basically what I'm going to do. I've already taken him. I'm just going to let it pass on until we get to your pick here.
I was looking at Justin Fields.
Oh, you were too, eh?
I didn't want him this pick. I wanted him next pick.
Because now we're starting to get to the point of the draft where a lot of backups and are there, and starters you wouldn't necessarily want are still available.
Oh, I've got a starter that I want.
So Aaron Rodgers right after Jalen Hurts, Melvin Gordon, Michael Pittman, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, Tyler Boyd, and it goes to Alex. Before we get to you here, no one is looking at Robert Tonyan tight end.
I got you, Johnny. That's my pick here.
That's why.
I've been sitting, and I'm going to steal him here.
Do it. Put him in there. Man, he actually in a few leagues, and this one right here on the sleeper app. On the sleeper app here, he is a tight end wide receiver. So this is
the option to play him at both.
Yes, and is a beautiful option to have with some of these players. I was hoping they would actually put Travis Etienne as that as well, because then I would have for sure taken him at a certain pick. Now, with Robert Tonyan being picked here, this is Aaron Rodgers' safety blanket, and he did help me get to the championship round in our work league, because I was very top-heavy in our work league, and that was it. And if you look at his game log, he did start to fall off here. I'll put it up there, see if anybody can see it. Those red marks that you see towards the receiving at the end of the year are not necessarily good, but it's the consistency in the targets that he gets. He doesn't, and he gets the touchdowns every single time. So he's got the 3 touchdowns that he had against Atlanta in week 4, and he had, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 touchdowns all season long. That is the reason why he is a great pick here. What was that, in the 7th round?
Yep.
So in the 7th round here for you. Goddard went right after. Morstead, Fournette, gone. Zach Moss, would have been a steal. Rondell Moore for Arizona. Mike Davis, and then you are back on the clock.
So I was looking at a running back here. I saw he was still on the board. I had to get Tonyan first. I lose out on Mike Davis.
Okay.
So I'm going another starting running back. So I'll go through the ones that are here. James Conner, I don't like in Arizona. I don't like the fit because of the offense. It's an air raid offense.
Yep.
Kyler Murray's going to throw the ball all around the yard. You've got Rondell Moore, who was just picked. You've got DeAndre Hopkins. You've got Christian Kirk. It's loaded there.
Yeah.
So to me, it's hard to go with James Conner there, because even running the ball, Kyler Murray is going to be your main runner.
Yep.
That's just how it's going to be. I'll leave my actual pick. Devin Singletary is 1A, 1B with Zach Moss.
Yep.
So that doesn't hurt to get there. Same with Kenyon Drake for Vegas. He's a 1A, 1B. Kind of, they want to play him out at wide receiver sometimes. So he's going to get a lot of touches. To me, I just want that bona fide number one guy that's still there. Houston, we don't know what the hell's going to happen there. You got David Johnson, Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. So many guys got to get the ball there.
Yep.
Chuba Hubbard is tempting, but he's not a number one, and he's playing behind a stud.
Yep.
So long-term look, he would be a good pick, but not in round 8. To me, it's Damian Harris for New England. I think they don't like Sony Michel anymore. I think they've kind of passed on him. Harris is a good running back. He's got chemistry with Mac Jones. They were on the same Alabama team for a year or two. I just think, especially with Cam Newton, if he can't throw the ball like he did last year, like if he struggles to like he did last year, and Mac Jones, if he comes in, you've got that rookie quarterback. To me, you've got to pound the rock. Give me Damian Harris.
Yeah, that's a good pick, especially with the amount of carries that he should be getting here.
Yeah, there's a run on good receivers here.
Yeah, which leads me to an easy pick, in my opinion, because it would have been too soon for you. But here at basically the end of the 8th round, you start, for me, it's all about starters and potential, especially for dynasty purposes. You do want to go youth. A lot of people would be like, oh, hey, whoa, you want to settle down and go youth here. I do agree with that. But the fact that most of the youth exists on the wide receiving core right now, I can't necessarily do that because I need to get at least another running back or at least another tight end. Quarterback can wait. But after Damian Harris, Trey Lance, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Corey Davis, Marquise Brown, Hunter Henry, and Irv Smith, I am going to take James Conner. Just get it out of the way. I need another running back. He's still respectively youthful, so I can use that.
201.
Yep. And once I picked him, it opens up basically everything else from there. I can go any direction now with the rest of my picks. If I want to keep going wide receivers, if I want to keep going running backs or tight ends, I now have enough space to do basically whatever I please. Now, the other side of this is I do want to basically go for the best player available. After the pick for me, I went Terrence Marshall, which would have been my pick. Jarvis Landry, Tua, and Elijah Moore all went off the board. Some rookies there, which a lot of people are obviously thinking. There is a player that I want to see if they fall to you, so I am going to leave them on the board. I can leave you in that dilemma.
Yeah, I know who you're thinking.
Now, actually, oh man, this is a difficult one. Because there is some starters there, and I do want to see what this guy still does. So I am going to go Pat Freiermuth, tight end out of Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
He's the number one there. It's still a number one left on the board.
The two guys I wanted went 5th and 6th. I was looking at Stafford and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I was like, whichever one's there I'm taking, and they're both gone.
Amon St. Brown was the one I was leaving there for you.
Yeah, I knew that's the one you were leaving for me.
Before we get to those, though, Pat Freiermuth, number one tight end from Pittsburgh. Our league, we allow our flex positions to be tight ends as well. So it's just another wide receiver for me. Brandon Cooks went after Stafford, Amon St. Brown, Devin Singletary, Kenyon Drake, Logan Thomas, Jalen Reagor. Now we're just starting to get to the back end of the league. So now you can start going for complete youth if you really wanted to, and it doesn't necessarily matter the position. Alex, you got a lot of youth here. What are you taking with this pick?
So there's a lot of options. I could go quarterback. If you're looking at youth, there's Zach Wilson. Baker Mayfield's still young. He's got to sign a deal here still.
Yes, he does.
He's only there for one more year. Zach Wilson is a huge option. Mac Jones, Carson Wentz is like 26, 27, and on that big contract with weapons around him in Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. That's tempting. Daniel Jones scares me because it's an improve-it year, so I'm not going there. I hyped up Sam Darnold earlier. I do truly think this could be a year that he pops off, so I'm looking there. I want to take my boy Goff, but he just doesn't really have anyone to throw to.
He doesn't, no.
So in the 9th round, that scares me a little. Looking at wide receiver, there's still youth in Michael Gallup, Henry Ruggs, Kadarius Toney, Darnell Mooney, Denzel Mims, Mike Williams, Mecole Hardman, Gabriel Davis, Amari Rogers, Diami Brown, Christian Kirk, Dwayne Eskridge. Like, there's so many good young receivers there, and there's proven guys like Antonio Brown.
Yep.
Like Devontae Parker. Like, there's a lot here for a 9th round pick. That is tough. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to go for a rookie. I'm going to take my second quarterback with Zach Wilson.
Ooh.
I like what they're building around him there in New York.
He is going to have a lot of points thrown his way here pretty soon. And you'll have
really nice for me.
Yes, it did, actually. Because you have Joe Burrow and Zach Wilson now, you basically got 2 youths, and you would be able to use that as trade bait as well. That's awesome. Baker Mayfield, Michael Gallup, Kenneth Gainwell, which was a hard one not for me to pick, because I think he's.
I thought you would have taken him.
Yeah. Henry Ruggs is no longer on the board there, Mr. Johnny Dean. He is taken at the back end of the 10th round. Tony Pollard gone, and Devontae Parker is gone, leaving Alex with another few options here. Where are you going?
I will say Ruggs was going to be my pick here.
Okay.
Now that he's gone, Johnny's last comment there, Trey Lance has already been taken.
Yeah, I would have gone Trey Lance if he was still available, respectively. I don't tend to over pick on quarterbacks, especially in like a startup draft. This one, I just wanted to have Trevor Lawrence, and he was kind of rated as a respectable area there. So no, I do not get Trey Lance, but I wish. Alex, what is your next pick?
To me, another thing I look at when I'm building a roster is in my other Dynasty League, not the North Sports one. Mm-hmm. I built up, and what almost got me in the playoffs with a horrible roster was having Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Having that quarterback-receiver combo is huge in fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this is an easy pick. I'm going Denzel Mims, who's got the potential to be that number 1 in New York.
Hell yeah.
Especially with Jamison Crowder holding out for a contract, this gives Mims more reps and more time in that starting offense. I think Mims could pop off for a huge year. Denzel Mims is my 10th pick.
Not only that, I've actually traded for Denzel Mims in, I think it's our league, because of the fact that he does have a chance to be really fucking great. Especially with Zach.
He's got all the tools.
The ball. He does. So Mims is gone. Jonnu Smith, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, Ryan Tannehill, David Johnson, Kadarius Toney. The fact that he even got that close to my next pick freaking scares me. Nyheim Hines is gone, and that leaves me with some decent options. But we are starting to get into the really you got to start looking about what you think is good options. I do see some few good ones here. I do want to get another running back, and I'm stuck between Alexander Mattison doesn't do it for me. Chuba would be nice, but that's hard.
McCaffrey's going to get the bulk of the carries there.
Yeah.
As long as he's healthy.
And if they do decide to trade him off in a package, Chuba does become number 1. So I am going to take our boy from Sherwood Park, Chuba Hubbard. I'll get him out of the way.
I was taking him if he was there next. So
Evan Ingram, Alexander Mattison, Mike Williams, Mecole Hardman. We are in the second last round here.
I will say the fact that Mike Williams made it to the 11th round is awful.
Yeah. I agree. Where was he? There he is. I am going to be going youth here because I know that I am not going to be able to get anything of real value anymore. When it comes to certain players, I am set at all positions except technically now the wide receiver wide receiver position. So I am going to be going to a team that doesn't necessarily have a quarterback right now. I mean, they have a stopgap quarterback with Fitzpatrick. And
Ooh.
I am going to go with Diami Brown, who is going to be the number 2 wide receiver there in Washington for the foreseeable future. So Philip Lindsay's gone. Antonio Brown, Adam Troutman, Tyler Higbee, Gus Edwards, Gabriel Davis, Tom Brady goes right before Alex can snag him off.
I wasn't going to.
I know. But it is now your pick. You got some interesting selections.
Yeah.
Some youth there. Like Eskridge from Seattle. Amari Rogers from Green Bay is still surprisingly there. J.D. McKissick. Christian Kirk. Jamal Williams.
And that is another important thing, too. If you can get that backup behind the starter.
Yep.
Is a huge move that you can do.
Yep.
I don't like it at pick 11, though.
No.
To me...
You'd be able to get him in the 12th, but...
And I'm thinking that's what I might do. To me, I'm going to get more depth at running back.
Yep.
And a guy that could potentially start this year after possibly a good training camp. I've got him in our other league because of a trade with you. Give me Javian Hawkins from Atlanta.
Oh, very good. Very good. J.D. McKissick goes Mac Jones, which I was even surprised is still on the board. Matt Ryan, Austin Hooper, Rob Gronk, Darrell Henderson. We are in the last round with Alex's last pick. You can go any which way you want here, buddy.
To me, I want that Jamal Williams pick, but it's hard to get a 5th running back when I've got only 3 receivers and 1 tight end. I think what I'm going to do, man, there's so many good young receivers. Amari Rogers, Christian Kirk, Eskridge, Nico Collins.
Elijah Mitchell.
I'm not going to say the one I'm going with yet, though. There's Des Fitzpatrick. There's our Canadian boy, Josh Palmer, which is so tempting. Van Jefferson, Russell Gage, Tutu Atwell. Tylan Wallace is... Oh, it's hard not to pick him.
Right?
Especially, that was such a steal. To me, though, what I am going to do is I'm going to get what could be anywhere from your number 2 to your number 4 option on this team. So there is a little bit of risk. But I'm going to go Indianapolis Colts receiver, Paris Campbell.
Yeah, that's a smart one. Tariq Cohen goes right after. Carson Wentz, Todd Gurley, Jamal Williams, doesn't come to me, Christian Kirk, Amari Rogers, Nelson Aguilar. Now, where was this? Tebow, woo! Now, if we were doing 16, 17, 18 rounds, I would consider it.
I consider it right at the end, yeah.
Yeah, but not for a dynasty like this. I couldn't do it. Now, I am actually kind of stuck because I do have Eskridge and Nico Collins still left on the boards, and I love what Nico Collins is possibly going to do. But
it's just who's his quarterback going to be.
Exactly. I do only have one quarterback, and I think I could probably still grab another one in free agency. We're going to be left with Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. All would be my backup.
Derek Carr would be a good backup.
Yeah, so I'm going to stay away from that. I am just going to run the one quarterback for now. This being said, I grabbed him in a few leagues. I've dangled him to a few people for trade bait. I'm kind of glad that I didn't because I saw the news today come out that he's going to be this team's next LeGarrette Blount. I am going to take Ramondre Stevenson from New England because if we're starting to talk this back end of the draft and we're just going strictly for players that, have high upsides, like Dwayne Eskridge went right after and T.Y. Hilton to finish off the draft. Ramondre is going to get you points when he sees that field because we're all talking about Damian Harris. They don't like Sony Michel. They don't want Burkhead. I don't even think Burkhead's there anymore.
Burkhead signed with the Texans.
So yeah, he's in the Texans there. New England might just start using younger running backs and just say we're never going to pay our running backs ever again.
A tandem of Harris and Stevenson. Oh, man, that's a good one.
So just to give everyone a quick update, Alex's team. First, he's got DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris, Kyle Pitts, Cooper Kupp, Joe Burrow, Rashad Bateman, Robert Tonyan, Damian Harris, Zach Wilson, Denzel Mims, Jalen Hawkins, and Paris Campbell. That's actually a pretty deep team. I like it.
I'm very happy with the way that draft ended up.
For myself, I ended up with Alvin Kamara, Calvin Ridley, Darren Waller, Javonte Williams, Trevor Lawrence, Deebo Samuel, Laviska Shenault, James Conner, Pat Freiermuth, Chuba Hubbard, De'Ami Brown, and Ramondre Stevenson. Mine is a young team. I did not realize that until after.
That is super young.
So let's get to some of the picks. That was our mock draft, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll go way up here first. We had our numbers. We had 11. 12, 3. Potty mouth got thrown at me. Welcome to the fucking show, Harry. It's not past 10, Alex. Well, their rule is that they can't swear until after 10. But
okay.
Here on North Sports Dynasty, I drop fuck, shit, damn, piss. I don't care. I don't care. If you're looking for the future for Dynasty, you can grab a young potential, someone like Najee. Yeah, we talked about that as well. Eckler is always solid. Someone is going with Pitts. We did grab Pitts. Evans will get his. Brady is trying to get him into the Hall of Fame, which is also true. The Raiders tight end should get a ton of targets. That's the plan. Tonyan was the steal there. Burrow, much better choice than Trevor. He's having red zone issues. That is one of the reasons why I believe ATN will have so much success. Now, this is the reason why I think they actually drafted ATN as well, is because you do have that red zone issues, but James Robinson, if you get close enough, might just punch it in. That's the reason why it's hard to trade him away if you do have him right now. Is so stuck on Rudolph. It's pathetic.
Agreed.
Number one spot. You have to see if the Ravens OC can change it up there. Probably as last year. I could see that as well. Highwood North Sports Dynasty. We had our friend Steven popping in there earlier. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Pittsburgh's tight ends are basically additional O linemen. Same thing that we had here. I love it. Ruggs is still on the board. He was taken. And we get to after the draft. If one of you don't take Tutu Atwell, I'm going to dog you both. And there was still some value on the board in the 12. Like if we did 13 or 14 rounds, Tutu would have been gone.
Oh, yeah. If we were going 13, even like 13, Tutu was my next pick.
Yeah. And there, like Alex knows this. So and everybody kind of knows this now. I try to collect as many 4th round picks in a dynasty league as possible, so that when people forget that Javian Hawkins and Tutu Atwell and all those guys are sitting there in the 4th round, I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why people started trading up into the end of the 3rd round. And they're like, "Fuck, full bear."
All right, I traded up to the start of the 4th.
Yeah, they're like, "Not happening. Not letting this happen."
Yeah, I think in our draft out of the 14 picks in the 4th round, we had probably close to 8 or 9.
Yep.
We just rolled that 4th round.
that was fun. Blue says, heave away, guys. Blue, we're going to get a pickup basketball game set up for next Saturday, buddy. We're going to post it in the group here soon. Don't you worry. Andrew, I was going to dog you over Tutu, but you redeemed yourself over some faith in the Chuba pick, but no redemption for you, Alex. That's why, like I said, if it was 13, 14 rounds, Tutu would have been gone. Tutu is like Javian Hawkins to me and Alex. It's two of those diamonds later on in the rounds that people are forgetting about that may actually hold a lot of fantasy value. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are obviously going to be the guys getting the major looks, but Tutu and Deshaun Jackson is there as well. So they are
Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson, like they're loaded at receiver. So it's going to take a really good camp from Tutu to get in this year.
Yeah, and Tutu would probably benefit from sitting a little bit just for a year, letting Deshaun Jackson walk out, waiting to see what happens with the contracts of the other wide receivers. So, but he is like me and Alex.
I thought about him for at least 4 rounds there. I was sitting there like, man, he's sitting there like I could get him, and then I saw all these guys that are almost guaranteed to start, and I'm like, but I gotta get these guys. Like
he's still there.
Yeah. That hurt.
I know. But yeah, that's the thing is there is still value left on. This is our first mock draft. We just kind of wanted to make sure we got this one out of the way. I wanted to help out a couple of viewers, which we had some good viewers here today as well. And we want to thank everybody for that.
Also,
since I was slacking, next Friday I'll be sending off some of those prizes that some people have won. There was some miscommunications on my end with trying to put them in boxes and try and send them off. Now they actually have just send anywhere boxes for like flat rates. And I'm like, oh, thank fucking God. So I'll be sending those off to our winners from the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Which I've reached out to them and they're all been like, hey man, just not a problem. We appreciate it. So those will be coming out to you guys by next Friday. I can promise you and assure you that. There we go. I can't remember the Raiders tight end's name, but did he go somewhere? Yes, I grabbed Waller
and yes,
in the
third round.
Yeah. Made sure I got third or fourth. Made sure I'd grab him as my number one tight end. He's still up there. He's still scary, but he's still up there. So, Alex, we're $1.30 into this.
That was like perfect timing.
Yep, we're literally completed the show. I will have to be getting off here to obviously take care of the kids while my wife goes and works. While we're, off, we're going to be working on some more articles. Alex's article will be up in the next couple of hours here, I promise.
And I've got my fantasy rankings to send to you.
Yes.
In the next hour or so.
Our fantasy ranking show is next week. We're going to be doing, we have our articles based on the top 25. Next week, we will talk our first round. We'll do the top 10 of each position. And then the next episode after that, we will fill it out with the rest. So it'll give you guys a good split of who your main target should be for one episode and who some of the other back-end targets should be for you all to go after. This has been a great fucking show.
Yeah.
Not sure have any of the bets gone through. Oh, yeah, the one thing I was going to say about these bets here, guys, you see those NASCAR picks right there? There's a reason I put that in there. I think I have found something when it comes to NASCAR. Me and Alex are fans of NASCAR. I am a little bit more. I watch these races.
Yeah, I watch from time to time. Like, I keep an eye on it, but yeah.
I've been watching these races a little bit more so. And I've started to find a pattern on some of these race car drivers here. If you put $10 down and you split it 3 different ways, all right? You cover 3 race car drivers per week. Your favorite, one of the top 5 favorites, and a respectable sleeper or top 10, depending on what track you're racing at. Now, if you're racing at a Daytona or a Talladega, that last $3, and I'm just saying a $10 bet, that last $3, you go and you pick on a driver that's never won or a driver that usually has some success finishing in the top 10 of a Talladega or Daytona and never seem to get the win, right? But we've started to see it. Michael McDowell won the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Bain, or whatever the heck that guy's name is. There's a couple other guys who have won on the first races when it comes to like a NASCAR event. So that's why with these picks this weekend, we're going to something called Sonoma. Ooh. Sonoma, I do believe, used to be called Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen, for people who don't know, is a road course. A what? A road course. A what? A road course. It's got dirt and shit. They don't drive 195 kilometers an hour, miles per hour, around a corner. They drive like 70, 80, 100 at some sports.
A lot more precision, a lot more technique. It's not just putting the pedal to the metal and just going.
Yep. And so with that being said, there are favorites. And right now, out of this year alone, out of the 12 bets that I've laid, I think it's 12, I've hit 5 times, would have hit the 6th time, which would have been 6 out of 13, had I actually bet on the road course that they were doing in the rain with Texas that Chase actually won. Because if you're a fan, I put $3 to $5 on Chase every weekend. And I don't even think about it. That's just me because I'm a fan of him. So this weekend, if you want to make some money, throw money on those 3 drivers. And at the most, I would throw it on I would throw it on Chase. Sorry. Chase is owning these road courses.
He's doing very well on those this year.
When you look at, Jeff Gordon before with Martinsville and stuff like that, he's still only winning 23 to 33% of the time. Same with Mark Martin when he did all of that. Dale Earnhardt when it came back to the old races of before. Even Jimmy Johnson with Dover, Delaware. We're still talking the 20s to 33 or to 20 to 35 percentages of a chance of winning. Okay. I am telling you,
good.
Which is still really good. I am telling you right now, there is literally a 50-50 chance of Chase winning this race based on the amount of wins that he has won. He has 7 out of 16 or 6 out of 14 road races that he has raced. He has won. Yeah. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like money. So for the Sonoma race that you got, those are the odds that I found last night. Plus 200 on Chase Elliott. And that's almost a guarantee. And it's even at plus 200. That's not an underdog. Like what? Martin Truex there at plus 400 is another guy who also races really well at these tracks. So that's also good.
He races well like everywhere.
And that's the other reason we put Kyle Larson in, even though he did drop some stuff and we don't necessarily really like him necessarily. But
no,
he's a good race car driver. He's been proving his worth here. And he does do actually really well at the road courses. So if you want to get some money in the NASCAR, those are my 3 bets. Don't bet anything out of your means here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be like my pretty lady who wants to throw $1,000 on the Golden Knight for every time they play. We do not have that kind of money. All right, Alex, tell everybody where they can find you.
So just Alex Loosemore on Facebook, at Loosemore65 on Twitter, at N Sports Dynasty for North Sports Dynasty on Twitter, and the North Sports Dynasty page on Facebook.
Yeah. And then you can follow me at Andrew_Faubert, as you can see right there, and also North Sports Dynasty. Follow our show on all social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, our site, northsportsdynasty.com, where we put all of our fantasy lines and stuff like that. I'm literally working on it, trying to make it a little bit more fun, but we put our shows on there. We're going to have some more types of content coming out soon. We've beat COVID, basically. Me and Alex are we're gonna go out next Saturday and have a pickup game. So we're gonna do our show, and then we're probably gonna meet up, and we'll probably do like a quick update so everybody can see that we actually exist and coincide with each other.
Yeah.
And we'll probably make a couple of commercials while we're there and just have a lot of fun. Last comments here before we go. Jeff Gordon used to own Watkins Glen. Jerry Grant used to do well there as well. Same with like drivers. There was like a Canadian driver, like Boris Said was really good there. I think Dick Cole was really good there before. There's like a few older drivers like in their 50s and 60s that would always just pop in there and ride really good. Harry Grant, sorry, Fat Fingers. You don't like Keith's brother? Yeah. Anyways, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for tuning in. It was a great show, great comments. If you have any questions about fantasy football, remember to hit us up. You can send us emails directly to our page. You can hit us up individually, Twitter. It doesn't matter. We've gotten a lot of people starting to get into this fantasy football stuff, and they're starting to bring more people in. We've got other shows that have started to reach out to us. So this has been awesome. You guys have been great. Alex, thank you again.
Thank you.
One more week, buddy.
Yeah.
One more week. We'll be out of this hellhole, hopefully for good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Where we can actually be able to have
their shit together. Shows
here.
Yeah.
Like for special occasions and stuff, like, Alex can bring his big board here, stuff like that. It'd be intense. So we're getting let out here, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting let out of our houses soon. So until then, ciao, ciao for now.